Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to Mr. Rajaraman. Sir, over to you. So we will listen to Mr. Rajaraman first, and then I'll open the floor for questions. Thank you.
Good afternoon to all of you. First of all, thank you, Mr. Gopalakrishnan, and I would like to thank Preeti Chandrasekhar, President of the Institute, and her colleagues for having invited me for this gathering. I also want to congratulate the Institute of Actuaries for celebrating the 25 years of professional excellence, which I think is, of this event, perhaps, I think, right? So, so this only shows that the Institute has grown from strength to strength, and we only, I convey my best wishes to the Institute for actually guiding not only the members, but also the students, numbering several thousands in their future endeavors. Actuaries' role in insurance, pensions, and risk management has been a growing area, especially now with technology. I think it has become a confluence of both specific science along with technology of all kinds. Now before I get into today's conversation, let me also talk about some high-level issues which probably define the environment in which we are working. I'm reminded of the Honorable Prime Minister's call for Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, or the whole world as one family, at the G20 and beyond. Today, colonialism, exploitation, and hegemony have no place in a new world that is principle-based. Abuse of Mother Earth by individuals, corporations, and nations must also stop. Many of these risks which the planet has been facing, countries have been facing, corporations have been facing, have become uninsurable as well. So we need to also figure out how to de-risk the world from the unprincipled governance at various levels. So if such wishes were horses, then obviously actuaries could actually sleep at night. So globally, life insurance industry is in a critical juncture. Long-term demographic changes, increasing incidents of extreme weather events, global political uncertainty, macroeconomic challenges, and shifting consumer expectations are impacting as well as transforming the market. As the population ages, the greatest growth opportunity involves insurance for living, offering benefits that add immediate tangible value through their customer lives. So every geography comes with its own set of problems, and I'm sure that the insurance companies which are present here today will also, I was just having a conversation with some of them during the tea time. So the experience of some of the insurance companies and actuaries in some of the Western demographies where the population is aging could come in handy for a country like India in planning when we become an aging economy sometime maybe about 25, 30 years later. So I think there's a lot of flow of information, knowledge, which happens not only within the country, but also from across various geographies. Risk is no longer a back office function. Companies now recognize it as a central to strategic planning. Actuarial skills required go beyond technical expertise, and top priorities include communication, leadership, and the ability to influence executive decision making. Actuaries must learn to translate complex models into stories that leaders will buy. Complex future risks don't fit neatly into categories. For example, cybersecurity could impact healthcare, climate change could reshape the insurance industry, global supply chains could affect pensions. Actuaries who work across industries and disciplines will be the most valuable in such a very complex situation. In 2047, Bharat will turn 100. In 1991, the Government of India worked on a new trajectory from being a command and control-led, government-led economy to a private sector-led, less regulated and globalized economy. India in the last 3.5 decades has demonstrated strong macroeconomic reforms, fiscal and financial stability, and political maturity and stability at scale in the midst of all these uncertainties, COVID, wars, disruption of the global economic and political order, disruption in supply chains, etc. The last decade has been even more transformative with structural shifts like implementation of the goods and services tax. We now have one consumption tax across the country. The insolvency and bankruptcy code in the financial sector leading to greater borrower and institutional discipline in lending. Reformation, consolidation, and recapitalization of public sector financial institutions like banks and insurance companies, etc. Capital market reforms have also unleashed a new wave of retail participation in the markets, with about 135 million Indians trading the stock markets in 2025 as against 20 million in 2014. So even as the global economy navigates uncertainty, India continues to chart a strong growth path. Domestic demand continues to underpin economic growth in financial year 26. Domestic drivers remained the primary source of growth in financial year 26. External demand continuing to have a share of nearly about 20% of the GDP also supported growth. Domestic inflation dynamics in financial year 25-26 reflects a broad-based easing in the price pressures. So we have an era of high growth along with low inflation as well. Though of course inflation has recently perked up slightly, led by some increases in the food prices. Gross FDI inflows continue to rise significantly, growing at 16% year on year in April to November 2025. The outlook therefore is one of steady growth of around 7% amidst global uncertainty requiring caution but not pessimism. The Honorable Prime Minister of India has envisioned Viksit Bharat at 2047 in 2022 when India will turn 100. Since then, the Government of India has launched a series of reforms focusing on Viksit Bharat, which aims to raise the standards of living of the citizens of Bharat and enhancing the quality of life. This mission will rest on 4 pillars. These include replacement of colonial governance architecture with modern, globally aligned and business-friendly laws and regulations. This is work in progress and will be complete in the next couple of years. Business reforms focused on infrastructure and advanced manufacturing have already taken off from the ground. And we see a lot of good traction in the form of solid FDI and FPI inflows into the country. Technology and innovation reforms with focus on domestic talent development, research and development, and global products from domestic technology companies is also has taken off. The last but the most important pillar would be the financial inclusion reform, which is focused on raising the fortunes of the bottom of the Indian economic pyramid through social, economic, and financial inclusion programs. I would rate the financial inclusion pillar as the most important because India is a democratic country and democracy requires that the bottom of the pyramid also marches along with the top. We would like the Indian economic pyramid to be a flatter pyramid than it is now, I mean, with a lot of social justice, equity, and greater amount of economic participation and financial sector participation by the bottom of the pyramid. I would like to point out one reform which stands out from amongst all these reforms. In 2014, there were more than 540 million people in India who did not have bank accounts. Today, I think as of last year, all the 540 million people have bank accounts linked with the national ID and the mobile phone. So this forms part of the Indian digital infrastructure, which is now being used by every sector to actually to connect the bottom of the pyramid with all kinds of financial products and services. So I'm sure that many of them who have started paying using the payments infrastructure, which has been enabled by the mobile phone and the bank account, will have started already connecting to banks for credit for their credit requirements. Some of them will have started investing into the stock markets. Many of them will start insuring themselves, pensioning themselves using this infrastructure. So the size of the formal financial sector in 2047 will be significantly different. Will be driven by the bottom of the pyramid, and I think that a lot of growth will come from the retail participation that can be afforded by these people. Now, amongst one of these reforms that the Government of India has undertaken, the GIFT-IFSC is one of the reforms. While foreign investors have been using a direct investment route to invest into India, you can sit in San Francisco and wire transfer money and then become a managing partner in a company, or you can, or the other way around was to actually to land in Mumbai and start a business, and then do it hands-on. So these were two models. We have actually created a third model wherein foreign companies which require a lot of flexibility would require a third model, which means that you get the benefit of operating outside the country. At the same time, you're within the country for certain purposes. So that is the concept of GIFT-IFSC. So we have the GIFT-IFSC is an offshore platform. I mean, it's a special economic zone focused on the financial services. And the focus is on providing flexibility for foreign companies to actually get out of the capital controlled regime that obtains within domestic India. So this is a space which is carved out from the Foreign Exchange Management Act of India, and therefore provides flexibility for you to move in and move out capital without in foreign exchange without having to coming to India. Of course, you can use the same platform to invest into India and to use and also provide certain services to the Indian domestic market as well, while also retaining the flexibility to do the same with any other geography anywhere in the world. So this the experiment started in 2014, but the real thrust came in 2019 when the Parliament enacted the International Financial Services Centers Authority Act, which provides, which created a new regulator for this special economic zone, combining the functions of the Central Bank, the Reserve Bank of India, the Stock Exchange Board of India, the Insurance Regulator and the Pensions Regulator into one unified authority called the International Financial Services Centers Authority. It is, for people who are wondering what it is, I think it is very similar to the Hong Kong model of governance and or maybe the Dubai International Financial Center in Dubai. So it provides a similar, if not the same kind of flexibility. So in the last 5 years, we have notified about 35 regulations, which include banking, insurance, pensions, the capital markets, and so on and so forth. And we have gone beyond the normal financial sector regulator by also notifying regulations in aircraft leasing, ship leasing, bullion markets, and so on and so forth. At the moment, we have about more than 1,000 registrations in various sectors, with about 40 banks we have whose assets under management have crossed about $106 billion. They largely lend to Indian companies abroad as well as to Indian companies within domestic India as well. There are payment services providers which solve the payments problem between cross-border, and there is a foreign currency settlement system which provides real-time settlement of transactions between the banks in IFSC. The finance company regulations support a lot of finance companies which are in the core banking sector, including lending. I mean, there are many factors who have set up operations in GIFT City lending for trade finance. There are 34 aircraft leasing companies, 29 ship leasing entities as well, which use the finance company framework. A number of companies also have set up treasury centers in IFSC to manage the international operations. The capital market ecosystem in IFSC has seen a parallel expansion. There are 5 market infrastructure institutions which largely trade the Indian stock index futures in USD terms. There are 92 broker dealers who provide intermediation for foreign investors to invest into India in a different way. They also provide intermediation for Indian investors to invest into global markets. The GIFT Nifty 50, which trades on the stock exchanges, has witnessed record volumes, and the cumulative with monthly volumes crossing $100+ billion. The debt listing on the IFSC stock exchanges is a very attractive way for Indian companies to raise finance. And the total outstanding debt listings on the GIFT City exchanges has crossed $68 billion, with $16 billion being green ESG labeled securities. IFSC has also authorized about 202 fund management entities, which have registered more than 327 funds, which have raised commitments of nearly about $32 billion. And they have invested nearly about $15 billion into India and the neighboring countries as well. Out of these 327 funds, 4 funds are ESG funds as well. There are more than 116 entities which have been authorized under the TechFin and ancillary services regulations, which include advisory firms, fund administrators, trustee companies, law firms, technology companies, bookkeeping, taxation, and financial compliance service providers. As a unified regulator, IFSCA has simplified the complex platform by through a single window IT system, which provides a simple way of interacting with us. Let me also say that very recently in the budget for 2026, Honorable Finance Minister also has provided long-term tax predictability for the International Financial Services Center. The Government of India has doubled the tax holiday for GIFT City units from 10 years currently to about 20 years out of 25 years of business existence in IFSC. And beyond the tax holiday period, the 15% corporate tax would apply, which provides real long-term certainty for long-term investors. Let me turn my attention to, to the topic of today's world. I think where the actuaries would provide, are looking at how they can participate in the Viksit Bharat at 2047 journey. All of us know that actuaries work with massive data sets and cutting-edge tools. Traditional actuarial models currently blend with the technologies such as AI and machine learning, uncovering deeper insights with greater speed. While data scientists build models, actuaries bring expertise in the risk regulation and long-term financial forecasting. Employers are looking for professionals who combine both skill sets, making hybrid expertise the most marketable path. I want to challenge the profession to look beyond traditional insurance. In 2026, the boundary between an insurance and a bank is blurring. Our international banking units are seeking your skills for asset liability management and credit risk modeling under Basel III. In our capital markets, new business models have created a new frontier for risk governance. Our latest amendments explicitly recognize actuarial backgrounds for various roles. We need you to be guardians of risk management that an actuary can provide. With an entry of the first set of 5 global universities into IFSC, we intend to build a research ecosystem for the silver economy. Our longevity finance hub would aim to be not only about insurance and pensions, but also about integrating age tech with financial services to manage a global retirement savings gap that will reach about $400 trillion by 2050. We need actuarial research to turn the challenge of aging into a multi-trillion-dollar asset. We need institutions like the Institute of Actuaries to set up centers of excellence in IFSC in collaboration with universities to enable India to serve the world and the domestic market as well. I see that yesterday you had very long panels on some of the cutting edge technologies. So let me also give our view as a regulator. AI and machine learning are reshaping a lot of businesses across the world. I think very recently, last week, India just concluded a AI Impact Summit with people from all professions congregating there to brainstorm on what could be done to ensure that the impact stays largely positive. AI and machine learning are shaping actuarial practices as well, especially in risk assessment and financial disruptions. AI enables granular risk segmentation for personalized pricing in insurance using neural networks, etc., for analyzing various data sets beyond traditional models. The Indian Global Capability Centers, which power a lot of insurance companies across the world, are very important platforms through which I think some of our Indian talent are using some of these technologies to serve the world. India has nearly about 2,000 global capability centers across all industry, which have about 2 million young scientists, engineers, and other professionals who serve the various sectors of industry across the world. Sustainability is also another mandate of actuaries. Climate risk is no longer a downside tail risk. It is a material reality for every portfolio. Actuaries can generate synthetic data to model emerging risks like climate change or cyber threats, enhancing the scenario testing. With the insurance industry being faced with challenges, innovations such as hyper-personalized insurance products using AI and IoT data, dynamic pricing models based on continuous risk assessments, automated trigger-based parametric insurance solutions, integration of insurance into non-insurance platforms, etc., require a different kind of skill sets of a high order, which actually can transform the domestic industry as well as serve the global insurance industry as well. IFSCA is a member of the IFSCA, the International Association of Insurance Supervisors, the International Organization of Pension Supervisors, and GFIN. It has MOUs with many international regulators, professional bodies, including the IAA, to expand opportunities in GIFT City. IFSCA intends to bring global insurance and reinsurance ecosystem to India through the IFSCA platform, with focus on aiding, assisting, and facilitating insurance penetration in the domestic market and reducing the cost of insurance to customers. Over the last 2 years, insurance and reinsurance ecosystem at the GIFT City has evolved into a credible global risk management hub aligned with international market practices and supervisory standards. As on date, there are 31 branch offices of reinsurers registered with IFSC. 2 of them are health insurers, 4 of them are general insurers, 8 of them are life, and 17 are reinsurers. As of the third quarter of the 25-26 financial year, IIOs booked a gross premium of nearly USD $447 million, which shows a lot of promise in terms of the growth ahead. IFSCA has authorized 32 insurance brokers as well, and we see a lot of opportunity in this intermediation as well. IFSCA regulations enable seamless cross-border insurance, reinsurance operations, offshore underwriting of complex and specialty risks, significant capacity across high-impact risk classes, and deep integration with global insurance and retrocession markets. Very recently, IFSCA also is likely to, just probably next week or so, we are likely to notify our pension fund regulations as well, which will offer a great opportunity for NRIs and persons of Indian origin to pension themselves out of India as well. We also have a TechFin and ancillary services framework, which provides opportunities for actuarial professionals to provide actuarial advisory and consulting services to global clients, undertake valuation, reserving, and capital adequacy assessments, develop stochastic models, catastrophe models, and scenario analysis, offer actuarial support for InsurTech, and also provide technology solutions for any of the above. So this framework also provides a great opportunity for serving the world market in a very tax-efficient and a cost-efficient manner. Let me conclude by saying that the conference that you're having today is a great opportunity to look at how talent can emerge as a great opportunity for India to serve the domestic market and the international market as well. So there is an opportunity for talent today to reshape the learning process to cover a lot of the emerging tech, which includes AI and other kinds of technologies, which are hardware-based, which include like IoT and other kinds of technologies, which are powering a lot of the industries here. So I would say that I wish the actuarial students here a great future. I mean, I'm sure that the IAA will guide them in their endeavors. And I also see an opportunity for you to serve not only India, but the rest of the world by upskilling yourself in time. So let us all work towards building a financial ecosystem that is not only fast and smart, but also resilient and inclusive. And we at the IFSCA will remain committed to supporting the insurance industry in serving the Indian and the global markets as well. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for that insightful speech. You touched upon how the Indian economy opened up in the 90s. You also touched upon IFSC and what's happening in GIFT City. And also you touched upon probably the emerging or newer opportunities for the actuarial profession. So as I open the floor for questions, so let me begin by asking, say, about reinsurance. So reinsurance, I think, is one of the bigger opportunities within IFSC. So when we look at, say, 5 years from now, what are your thoughts on how big you think the reinsurance will be within IFSC compared to, say, other global markets?
Thank you. As I already mentioned, one of the challenges that the domestic market has is about raising the level of penetration. So while the penetration levels was around 2.7% somewhere in early 2000s, today it's about 3.7. It is probably plateauing, and then we need to see how we can actually, the insurance penetration goes up significantly, I think, to the level of, say, the developed markets. So the insurance regulator, IRDA, has announced an insurance for all agenda, which will require a lot of reinsurance capacity. There are a lot of areas like, say, agriculture, we see catastrophe insurance. We also see emerging risks like cyber security risks, I think. All this require a lot of capacity. So we believe that creating a good reinsurance hub, where some of the international players who are not in India as yet, to come and then probably develop a deeper understanding of the markets and enable them to kind of write more reinsurance out of India, will help the insurance industry to grow, I think. And on top of that, we also see a great opportunity in the recent opening up the insurance sector by the government of India. I think the government of India has announced that the FDI limit cap for insurance industry has been raised from 74 to 100%. So a foreign investor can actually own 100% of a company in India. So this is all positive in the sense that it fills a gap that India is facing. I think today, if you want to reach the insurance for all target by 2047, this will require enormous amounts of capital. So we believe that the opportunity lies in attracting global capital to come in and serve the insurance industry in India. So one of these ways is obviously to land in the domestic market and then get invested into the insurance industry. The other thing would be to build a solid reinsurance capacity within India, I think, and within domestic India as well as through IFSC. So our idea is to actually attract more capital into India through this way, I think. The other thing which IFSC also, this is not incidental to insurance, but we also want to be a platform where capitals of all kinds, the insurance industry also is a source of capital. So it invests into markets, of course, on shorter term, cycles, obviously. So we believe that the opportunity to invest into India also, which will be facilitated by the presence of reinsurance companies in India. So the idea is to actually to provide an enabling regulation which will support all of this. So our focus will be to complement what happens in India. Let me also add to say that many Indian companies have gone abroad to register captive insurance companies as well. So our idea is also to provide, we're working with the government of India to look at how we can attract, create a regulation in GIFT-IFSC to bring in captive insurance also onshore. So the idea is to fill up the gaps and complement what India requires.
Thank you, sir. So are there any questions from the audience? And is there someone helping with the mic? There's one from Anurag, I can see.
Thank you very much, sir, for a very insightful speech on IFSC and the opportunities that exist in the GIFT City. My question is about the managing general agents. That is something that has been missing from the Indian.
Can you hold it closer?
Is it okay? Yeah? Okay. Sorry. I think an important participant in the insurance industry called managing general agents has been missing from the Indian insurance industry. Am I audible? Not?
Is it about MGAs?
MGAs, yeah, okay. MGAs, yeah. So the recent amendments in the Insurance Act have enabled creation of MGAs in the Indian market. And I'm aware that IFSCA already provides for that. But what is our preparedness to welcome MGAs in terms of the policy guidelines, the rules and the regulations, both on the reinsurance side and on the direct general insurance side?
Before the amendment, the IFSCA regulations had structured the MGA business as both who could act as an insurer as well as an agent, a broker. But the current the law which has come about, which has defined an MGA as a proper intermediary. So which means that we will be probably looking at how to amend our regulations in the near future. So they will become an intermediary of sorts. We'll see how we can facilitate them to hold more pens than one, perhaps now, I think. So we'll figure out how to make it broad-based so that maybe we can attract insurers of other kinds who don't want to be physically present here to come through intermediaries as well, I think. So we'll work on that, I think.
Any more questions? Yeah, this there's a gentleman there.
Yeah, hi, I am Nakul from Switzerland. So my question is to Mr. Rajaraman. Sir, with the development of GIFT cities, I believe a lot of skilled workforce would move to the city. I know that it is the major role of the government and people to be like, we don't want it to become just another Indian metro with lot of problems. It should be a completely smart cities, but I want to know your views on like how can we adapt, like as an actuarial community, how can we adapt our products to encourage a certain kind of behavior, like we do in health products, like we give special kind of discounts for a healthy lifestyle or some kind of that. So how as an actuarial community we can contribute and adapt our products in such a manner that we can like encourage a good behavior on everyone's part.
Could you define the question properly? Nothing. So, I mean, is it about the product or about urban living?
Yeah, it is about the product, like how can we adapt our products in such a manner that we encourage a certain kind of behavior. For example, in our health insurance products, we give like discounts and gym memberships to encourage a certain kind of behavior. So,
Yeah, I get it. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. So, I mean, as a regulator, I think what we do is that we provide the framework in which I think the market operates. So, the insurance companies are free to design products which are in line with what a regulator expects. I mean, fair treatment to investors, I mean, market integrity, I mean, products which are with proper disclosures, and so on and so forth. So, I'm sure, I mean, already we have in the domestic market, I'm not sure about the IFSCA markets where some retail insurance products have been rolled out for NRIs and PIOs. I can say that many insurers have actually rolled out products which actually focus on the health of the individual, which I think is very good. Many of them offer, I mean, apps which ensure that people eat healthy. I mean, they exercise and probably, I mean, do yoga and all that stuff, I think, which is a very positive thing. If it reduces risk for the insurance company and for the individual, I think it's a welcome step. I think that as a regulator, we welcome such kind of products which looks at the well-being of the individual, and through the well-being of the individual, you also look at the well-being of your own company. Nothing wrong in that, I think. So, I mean, I mean, I'm sure that market will evolve. I mean, I'm sure that the many insurance companies are already offering it. We will see more and more innovation happening in that. As an international platform, we would be very happy to work with the insurance industry to support such kind of innovation, which actually benefits the customer.
Okay, so if there are any more questions, I'm going to apologize. The screens in front of me is all bright red, and it is telling time is up. No? So I'll wrap it up with one question, which is more, I got very curious because your background is so fascinating, inspiring, and interesting as well. You did engineering in, I think, electronics and communications, and then MBA, and then masters in economics, and then you came to civil services as IAS. And then you have worked in various departments, including, I think, you led the 5G initiative and so on. No? And now you are in IFSC. No? So how do you keep yourself, the skill sets upgraded? Actually, you touched upon that also in your speech. I think I find it very, very inspiring for us.
But I can tell you, I mean, my skill sets, I think are less confounding than probably the actuaries. Because I consider the actuaries only next to God, because you're supposed to know everything, what's already happened, what's going to happen, and all that stuff, I think compared to that, a civil servant's job is less complicated. But I can tell you that, and this is a message to the youngsters. I think it's very important that constant learning is required. I think that is what IAA is all about. I think it's very important that everybody, a continuous learning process happens. I find that happening in many professional bodies. I think I'm sure that I'm not very sure about the continuous learning programs that you have. That is what your membership is for, right? I think because you constantly associate with the next, this conference is very much, I would say, a continuous learning program where you meet with the people in industry who practice cutting edge technologies, etc. And then there is an osmosis of learning from the experienced people to the juniors. So I see that this is the way to go. I think constant interaction with the industry, networking, learning from each other, and also continuous improvement in your capabilities. I think this is what is required. So today it's an era of AI. So we can't have, I would say that if somebody doesn't know what AI will do to you, I think, or to your business, then I'm sure that you're illiterate. So I think we can call it the new illiteracy, I think. So I would say that this is what is demanded in this age. So every age, maybe 20 years, 30 years later, it might be a different kind of a requirement. So the thirst for learning is something we must keep alive. If you are there, I think then obviously you will be relevant. Your relevance will be determined by your thirst for learning, I think. So please stay relevant, stay updated, stay connected. I would like to say that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Please join me in thanking Mr. Rajaraman.